First of all, let me welcome each one of you. Like Stanley said, our brokers have been the backbone of Magicbricks, and across cities, I feel that when we interact with developers, we get a perspective, an aerial perspective of what's happening in the market. When we talk to the brokers, we actually figure out what's happening on the ground. You have your ears to the ground, and you're a very valuable resource in the entire real estate value chain of the country. So first of all, let me welcome all of you. There is a reason why we picked up the topic that we did. We're talking about metro. We're talking about how metro is important to the real estate industry and how the real estate industry responds to the progress of the metro. Today, we're doing this in multiple cities. We did our first discussion in Delhi, where you know that one of the arterial lines was opened just 3 weeks ago, and it connected Gurgaon to the rest of the to West Delhi and to Noida. It connected West Delhi to some of the jobs hubs, which is one is Noida. It connected the educational district of South Campus. It also connected Nehru Place, which is another jobs hub. So you see, the metro works in mysterious ways, but it impacts the life of people who are moving along the metro lines. And we've seen that, at least in the Delhi NCR, which is where the metro has been most aggressive, we've seen that localities prices can swing by 10 to 25% in rental and in capital values. So we decided that, you know, in Bangalore, metro is poised to change the way you live and work. So why don't we talk about the Bangalore metro and hear it from the Bangalore developers. So Manish, maybe we should start with you. You give us your perspective of what you think will happen with the Bangalore metro.
Bangalore metro will come surely, so that's that's there. See, all across the world, not just Bangalore. We can start with close to home here, that's Delhi. Dwarka is a prime example where property prices have not doubled, but have shown a significant increase. The announcement of
it was way more than double. At a time when it was about 20 lakhs.
I was coming to that. So there are studies, Helsinki for example, there is a study wherein when the metro was announced, that metro will happen. There was a price increase, about 3.9% or something. Then when the stations and lines were identified, there was another jump. And with the progress of construction, the property price increases there. So there are various studies. So this is not even debatable whether the prices will increase or not. Now there are studies in other cities, I think Lima in Peru perhaps. So the property price differential as you move radially outside of metro stations, right? So if you are 100 meters away from metro station, what is the property price? And then if you are 200 meters away, what is the property price? And that differential is also visible. So no brainer. We are in for good times as the metro chugs along. However, there's a long way to go for the first two lines to be completed and then more lines to be added. And as we have seen in Delhi, what happened is we made those radial lines and then now we're ringing it up. So that's completing the circle. So once that happens, the picture is totally different.
Right. Vishwa, like Manish said, the metro is a little while away, but you can see the progress of the metro, and somewhere that is an optimism, that brings optimism to the market. As a developer, how do you communicate with your buyers in terms of access to the metro? Is that a selling point for you?
So, like this is seeing is believing. So, when we have launched, in fact, built a project called Brigade Gateway, I think all of you know that. So, there was talk about metro coming up and all that. But there is a lot of skepticism at that point of time, whether it will come up, whether we can see it actually running up and running and all that. So the project got done, everything, we didn't even gain anything from the metro in terms of pricing or in terms of FAR and all that. But now we can see that metro is very much up and running. So just like most of the developers, in fact all of the developers, we also make use of that connectivity to metro. So people can afford larger homes, they can move away a little larger, so they can be part of larger integrated enclaves where the quality of life is much better and they don't have to spend much time traveling to that place. So we have seen like specifically properties on like Kanakpura Road or even Mysore Road, seeing a fancy for people who are working probably even in Whitefield or like at least closer to Baipanhalli, where there is a good connectivity of the metro. So I think metro is here for good, and like now that we have seen that it is happening, it's really great metro network that's been happening there. And as you were mentioning that people travel from Gurgaon to Noida, which used to be probably 1.5 to 2 hour drive time. Now probably I think 40 minutes or
50.
Okay, 50 minutes, but it's hazard free. There's no.
And we're talking about a good 40-45 kilometers.
Kilometers away, yeah. So you don't get the strain or anything. So I think as we go forward, we'll just see that happening more and more in Bangalore.
Others, you're talking about senior living, and that's a category of people who probably drove extensively in their young life, and slowly there are people who would like to stop driving. Does it make sense to have your senior living near the metro lines?
Yeah, absolutely. So as people age, right, certainly driver's license after 70.
Yeah.
So what we have seen that the higher drivers are very popular with our customers, but appreciation is something that is independent of age. So it doesn't matter who the customer is. That is why probably there will be something that persuaded want to invest in. So metro connectivity certainly helps there. So there's a big difference between a railway station and metro. At a railway station, where you don't drop prices, to a metro station, you drive up prices. And just to extend to what Vishwa was saying, so if you take the example like you start the gateway, the recent price of there must be around 15,000. But now you take Prestige University, which is at Jinda, the case of Bangalore is very far. The price there is 5,000 rupees, one third of the price, but it's 4 stops away, right? So that's 12 minutes away. So certainly we're going to see a big boom in the areas that are connected by metro, simply because they're able to get probably the one third or one fourth of the price, which will again see an appreciation as the metro line extends. And it becomes an easy sell for the channel partner community as well as for the buyer. So that's how I see metro really catching up. The only challenge would be that these metro stations need to provide parking and other adequate infrastructure so that people who are around can actually come and use the connectivity.
In fact, one of the problems of the Indian metro system is that while we've connected, we reduce the distances, what we haven't done is give that last mile connectivity. When you get off the metro, you either need to have parked your car there, or you need to have take an auto, or Uber, Ola, or something like that, and get back. That kind of linkages we are still very weak in. Mr. Kashinath, you were talking about how your consumers are willing to go to places further away because that is the promise of the metro. Help us understand what you're doing.
Yeah, madam, see, this metro, when it newly comes in Bangalore in year of 2011, everyone knows how it is going to work out. So, we're seeing last 5 years, especially last 2 years, everyone likes metro to travel. We send to purple line as well as green line. As of now, the connectivity is Baipanhalli to up to Mysore Road. It is extending to up to Nice Road and the Mysore Road, as well as this Kanakpura up to the art of playing they are planning. And the new plans they are doing even international airport also. For doing such a big project metro in Bangalore, future definitely everyone wants to travel only in metro. And prices also increasing every day by day, and especially whichever projects are having in under 5 elements. We have projects in Kanakpura Road as well as Mysore Road in Rajnagar area, as well as whichever project is coming Indira Nagar side. So people are loving this metro, as well as who wants to travel educationally to Bangalore University. Once upon a time, like 5-6 years back, who wants to travel from Indira Nagar to University, it would have taken 2 hours time. So now we can reach 35 to 40 minutes. So this is going to help, and this is going to improve future also.
So Shastri, with the metro, what we're doing is we're counting distance in minutes rather than in kilometers. In fact, I think Bangalore was the one city where you could say that I am traveling 4 kilometers, but I am traveling 1 hour, right? In some instances.
She's a Delhi.
There have been increasingly with the metro. You do say that I am 12 minutes away, 15 minutes away. There's a predictability of timelines. Do you agree? And if
Sorry, I'm going to take you back. People are all talking about the future. I take you back. The whole story of metro in Bangalore started in 1995, and I happened to be one of the signatories to that first draft declaration. Mr. Jairaj Dindekar, Municipal Commissioner, was appointed as Commissioner for the Bangalore Metro Transport Rail. Government of Karnataka and Government of India is like the frog that he was talking. When the whole story started, I remember taking some of the key bureaucrats to Switzerland. I told them, if you really want to do something which is good for everybody, do what Switzerland has done. Switzerland has a metro connectivity, which is the train connectivity across. But at every train station, there is a 3-kilometer radius of a bus connectivity. You get off the train, you get into the bus, it drops you. So the last mile connectivity is what was very, very important to succeed in any metro line. So 1995, when I told them this, they were saying, yeah, that's a great idea. I said, at every station, on either sides of the station, 3 kilometers, you run a bus service, which either gets embedded into your transport cost, or what Switzerland has done, the post, what they call, instead of our postal service, their postal service runs along the bus line. So the buses carry the post and back, and they also carry passengers and back, and you can time it. If you say 10:02, you're there 10:02, and you can take a train at 10:03. So that way they've taken the traffic of the road. In India, and more so in Bangalore, the metro has come. I'm very happy that it has come. I'm sure the city is going to progress beyond many people's conceptualization as well as thought. Like Delhi has succeeded, but Delhi has succeeded because they have done it in the correct manner. In Bangalore, again, as I told you, people that we govern us, they don't even understand distances. In the first place, instead of looking at high density workspaces, they have taken metro line to areas where population was yet to come. Fortunately, the population is now coming in there, so it's good. I do believe in time to come along the metro line, not only will population grow, but price will also grow. As long as, you can't go to any location only because of the metro line. Social infrastructure, unfortunately, we are always 15 to 20 years behind. We are never ahead of the curve, we are always at the bottom of the curve. If you go, like you just said, Jindal City. Now, till maybe 3 months ago, before Prestige announced the Jindal City, everyone knows Jindal for aluminium or for the health fund. Did anybody know Jindal for anything else apart from that? Correct. So now the Prestige Jindal City is launched. The metro will go there, but because he is doing an integrated development, workspace, school, mall, all that has to come in. So if the complete social infrastructure comes in at one place, I do believe staying away from the city is going to be a lot better than staying in the city. As it is, I don't think in Bangalore we suffer from people staying in the city because in the first 3 kilometer radius, there's not too much of residential that one can think of. So most of Bangalore is built on the outskirts. So probably life will only get better as we go forward. I can only tell all of you all one thing. Wherever you get a chance, just speak about one thing. Metro should have the last mile connectivity. No point giving me 6 bogies. Today Kumaraswamy has said he started with 3 bogies in 2006. 6 bogies have come in. Bogies can carry people from point A to point B. But what about them reaching their house? So I do believe that in time to come, metro will help people not only, I don't know how many of you all are able to understand the theory of aging. Sorry, I'm going to take 2 minutes extra. If you go into a Bombay regular central or suburban services, If you travel in those trains, you can see people, and you can, from the sidelines of the people, you can see the age of the man. It's because the expertise in travel over time, they know how to get in, how to get out. I used to tell people in Bombay many years ago, if you know which station you want to get off at, don't go anywhere, stay closer to the road, you'll be pushed out. And automatically when the train comes in, stay in front, you'll automatically be taken in. So far, that's not the story here. But if we don't add up lines quickly, and if we don't add up cars quickly, the benefit of the infrastructure is not there to stay long. That's what it is.
Once I'm going to pick up one of the issues that he did. He talked about social infrastructure, right? When you look at metro, across India, there is an enhanced FAR that we're giving along the metro. When you do that, I'll take a minute, like Mr. Shastri said, I'll take a minute to give you an example. Many years ago, when I went to San Jose, I was talking to the city authorities, and they said that one of their biggest occupants was Cisco, and Cisco had some 14 towers there. Cisco wanted to put up a 15th tower, but the city authorities refused permission at that point of time. They said that one tower means so many more cars, so many more people, so many more informal activity and so on. We have to augment our services before we allow you to put the 15th tower. Here is a infrastructure facility, a metro line which will carry people from point A to point B and many points in between, but we're giving enhanced development rights. Do we need to augment the facilities around it, and what is the legal perspective? If you bring many people in and give more development rights, how do you ensure that quality of life?
Okay, see, I want to go back a little and give a little bit of perspective. So all this talk about TDR and everything else is a way of compensating the landowner for the land he has lost. So it all comes down from the Land Acquisition Act. So you compensate the landowner. After all, if you want to develop the metro and if you want to take extra land from the adjoining landowners, you have to compensate them. And you can compensate them in terms of money, or you can compensate them in terms of TDR, which is a fairly new development in terms of the legal perspective. So, as a lawyer, what I can say is, I can't comment about whether it's good or bad or how it will affect me.
We'll take that to the rest of the
speakers. But certainly, being cash starved and cash crunched, it's an expedient way for the civil authority to take your land and give enhanced TDR. That is quite evident from the legal point of view. So if they are going to give X amount of TDR around the metro, legally it's quite a tenable way to do it, is what I think.
Right. Manish, I'll take this to you. When you enhance the FAR along the metro, the developer gets better returns, right? In Delhi, for instance, we've seen that the Metro Authority owned some of the properties which it gave out to developers to construct. Hasn't been a huge success, but help us understand what is the implication of the enhanced FAR along the metro for the developers and for the consumers.
See, enhanced FAR. I don't think it was meant as an incentive to the developer really. It was not the idea. It was to develop because of the transport hub being there. Perhaps the area can take more density and newer development which could be in sync with transport orientation should be developed. Logically enhanced FAR by demand and logic. Principal theory of economics, demand and supply. If more additional FAR means more supply, so actually prices should come down, but it doesn't happen that way. At least not in urban cities. But the theory is that, right? If you add on to the supply, so the prices should come down. However, that compensates by the attractiveness of the place. When metro is coming, that your transportation, the prime need, it comes down. I personally think blanket one FAR increase or two or whatever is not really well thought of. This is my personal.
What should it be? How? Yeah.
So I have a different take on that. See, if you see anywhere from the world, or even from a common sense perspective, let's say a city of 10 square kilometers, hypothetically, and let's say FIR is 100 million, right? Would that be an easier city to manage? Or a city is 150 square kilometers and FIR is 1? In your opinion, what is an easier city to govern and manage? It means cost, monthly cost to run the city.
Answer is everything.
Answer is everything. I think what our city planners and the powers that we fail to understand is this FAR is clouded with negativity. They don't understand that by reducing data and pushing development out, the city is unmanageable. How are you going to water? How are you going to power? How are you going to road? You don't have the money. Right? In London, in New York, in Tokyo, the best cities in the world can keep unlimited FSI and manage within a smaller density.
If you want to take you back 10 minutes,
Yeah.
very interesting story, Bombay, the Bombay-Pune Expressway. How many people of you all have travelled on the Bombay-Pune Expressway? Okay, how many of you all know the story of Bombay-Pune Expressway? Does anyone know the story of Bombay-Pune Expressway? Acha, Bombay built, at the same point when it built the Bombay-Pune Expressway, it built 55 flyovers within Bombay city. Does anyone know that?
Both along eastern and western.
Okay, I'll now tell you the story behind it, which you people should know. Nitin Gadkari, the current infrastructure minister at the center, was a minister in state. He was a PWD minister in state for Maharashtra, BJP region. He had no money to put out. He called this gentleman called Ramesh Chandra Sinha, who was the chairman MD of SIDCO. Very well-meaning human being, amazing chap. He was called by Nitin Gadkari. He was asked, how will you do these 55 flyovers? मेरे पास पैसा नहीं है देने के लिए. But I want you to do this to decongest Bombay. So he said, fine, no problem. I will do it on a condition. You allow me to bankroll X percentage of the municipal corporation's revenue for the next X number of years. Against that, I'll raise the money and do it. But when he got that okay. They allowed him to float a new company called Maharashtra State Road Development Corporation Limited. Government of Maharashtra put out 5 crores. That was the equity. The rest of the money was raised from public. In all the 55 flyovers, when he opened the tender, the condition in the tender document was L1 and L5 will not qualify. L2, 3 and 4 will be the only 3 people who will qualify. 55 tenders, 150 people, 150 different construction companies having bid for it. The difference between each document was not more than 2 lakhs. Can you imagine that? And when he finally started, let's say he decided to give it to you, who was at L2 or L3, he will file caveats on L1, L4, L5 and L2. So that you don't go to a court rush. Everyone can rush to the court, she will tell you, rush to the court, block it. So he did that. The second condition, if you deliver before you get 1 lakh, if you deliver delayed 1 lakh. Penalty both ways. That's how the 55 flyovers came. But the best part of the story is yet to come. The Bombay-Pune Expressway. Does anyone know what was the cost of the 140 kilometers of the Bombay-Pune Expressway? Reliance was the only company that had quoted for it. And Reliance had quoted 4,600 crores for the Bangalore Expressway, which is now currently running for the last so many years. So when Sinha was asked to do that, he said, give me 4 days, I'll come back to you with the correct offer. He picked 4 people from the PWD whom he had faith in. Took them into the Trident, spent 4 days there, cracked the whole thing. They came back with a revised price bid, saying 2,562 crores is what I will complete this at. And all of you will be surprised, he completed it at 2,495 crores. Well below 2060. Okay, so that's the story of infrastructure in this country. So honestly, unless somebody is, Mr. Sridharan, who's called the railway man of India.
No, he's the railway man.
He's the railway man because
Konkan
the
Rail.
Konkan Railway he built, and that has got 800 this one
Bridges.
no
Tunnels.
So
One tunnel collapsed 13 times and he got international help to make that
So
tunnel.
like that, infrastructure, yes. Even in Bangalore today,
anybody who's got that vision, see, you must have a minister who has that vision. You must have a bureaucrat. See, unfortunately, some of our bureaucracy, for some reason, is not willing to take on the politicals. You must have a challenging situation which will take you both. I've given you the story of these two in Bombay. If you want any other story anywhere in the country, they're all sitting in my files in the office, including your National Highway Development Program. Your first round of when Kanduri did it, even that's sitting with me.
Even Hyderabad.
Huh?
Hyderabad.
Even Hyderabad.
The outer ring road.
Huh?
Yeah, outer ring
The outer ring road, Cyberabad, the entire Cyberabad story is in my office.
Let's.
Sorry, what was your first question? I gave them I gave them something else, yeah.
They go back richer in knowledge,
Uh-huh.
but what I was asking you was, actually even I don't remember.
That's what I said.
But we were talking about, actually I was asking him, he talked about infrastructure and he
Correct.
countered it.
See, that everyone likes to say, Kyare, I want to stay far away. Infrastructure as much far. See, unfortunately, if I take the rail metro there, I must take the water supply, sanitary, power, all that to that location. Then school, hospital. See, no one realizes man is not an animal. He can't be in a jungle. Now, I'll take the metro to the end of Mysore Road, or I'll take it closer to Mysore. But please understand, earlier, wherever people live, see, most human beings tend to flock around places where the vegetable market, school, colleges, place of work, hospital. These should be nearby. But metro gives you the benefit of traveling a little away. Unfortunately, in the case of an emergency, the metro will not work between 11 in the night to 5 in the morning or 4 in the morning. And 99% of the emergencies happen there.
Yeah, but those are the times when the roads are free. Actually, what does the metro do? It decongest the road. It takes you over the road at a time when the roads are choked. And when the metro stops functioning, more or less the roads are navigable. And that is the logic. But you're right. When you go very far away, if that infrastructure is not around you. So Kashmat, help me understand. When you said let's take your distant locations, how do you provide social infrastructure? Is it something that you have to provide or the authority has?
Yes, sir, explained. The now metro is started from Bomsandra.
Yeah.
Day and night work is going on. There is no sanitary line. Even everybody knows last year rains, what it's happened in near Peset University. We can't travel last to 24 to 48 hours. The same thing we have project in Kanakpur Road near Talgatpura. There is also no sanitary line. The metro first should suggest to BBMP, let's develop first social infrastructure like sanitary line, proper rainwater should go, then they can start the work. In Bomsandra area there is no sanitary line, they have started now day night work. As well as in the Kanakpur Road also, there is no proper sanitary line, they have started day night they are working. I don't know how it is going to success.
So as developers, any one of you can pick up, as developers, you know that you have land banks there, you know there's a metro coming, there will be more demand there. How do you tackle this, and is there a way to tackle it, or are you just throwing up your hands and saying it's the city authority?
That's not, see, I think most of us at least have sorted this problem because of the new environment laws. We come up with our own STPs and stuff like that. So I don't see the disposal being that very difficult. But yes, the underground water table, which is depleting. Probably this monsoon, if the monsoon continues the way we are, it will be recharged. So a lot of us are going into rainwater harvesting. We are doing that. See, we can deal with water, we can deal with soil. These two are easily dealt with. Now, fortunately, because of the advancement in solar technology, to some extent, even the power situation, I think, across the state, across the country is definitely looking far better than it ever was. But these three are key ingredients. When I get off the metro station, I should be able to get to my place. Not everything is going to be alongside the metro station. That's not going to be a high density corridor. So that is where the challenge comes. These three you deal with, schools you have to deal with. How will you get, see, schools won't survive if there's not enough population to come to school. Likewise, hospitals. So all the social infrastructure will come only when the population comes. So what comes first?
Right.
The population, the social infrastructure, or the metro?
Normally, the population. At this point, I'm going to open it up to the audience. If any of you want to make any comments, then the panelists can take up those comments as well. Can we have a mic there, please? Any comments from the audience? Please feel free, because you guys are the ones who will be handling the queries that your consumers put to you. So I would like to hear what the consumers feel in this city as far as the metro goes. When somebody is looking for a house and you're advising them, do they come to you? Do they actually ask you, will the metro be coming?
Yes, basically you're absolutely right. Today, most of the inquiries are associated with whether it is a metro station, if so, how far away it is. That becomes so much more attractive for them to make a decision. Unlike previously, they asked whether it's a metro over there or an MLT. Today, the metro is proper line. So that's what they have in mind when they decide to buy a home.
What age group and what kind of consumer?
This age group is around 32 years to 40 years. That age group.
And what type of property are they normally looking for?
Apartments, basically.
Anybody else? Would you like to comment? Yeah.
When the government is taking the betterment charges, it's allocated. Because that is a very key point. Once you take the betterment charges, start the betterment charges, so a lot of things happen. See, we have the apartments in Whiteley. Then after one metro, in a couple of years, the metro will start. So there is no market. Okay. People in the even we don't have a metro also. Like we all use market. We have the school and hospitals. There is a close quality company. Or we will have something like that. There is a close quality company. But still they are not getting the market. What's the reason?
Yeah, see, I'll explain you the concept of betterment charges. Normally, the betterment charges is collected by the PBMB. So, what they do is, the concept of betterment charges is, I better your property. How do I better my property? You better my property by giving me sewage lines, by giving me water, by giving me electricity. This is the concept. This is the reason why betterment charges is collected. So, when the plan is sanctioned, and when you go for khata transfer, that is the time when they collect the betterment charges from you based on your square feet rent. And if you don't pay the betterment charges, then your khata is withheld. So this is the concept of betterment charges.
If they take the betterment charges but do not provide better the facility, his point.
Now the people are giving revenue side. Okay, people are start providing the revenue side. What is the revenue side? If they are not paying the revenue charges, they are the revenue side. Okay, then means the conversion, one conversion revenue side for the side. And we have to go to the BDF board. BDF board will take everything in this 2 years. To get the program, you have to pay the huge charges for that. Okay. If they are not collecting the betterment charges, government charges from us, how they can develop? They are not developing. Because of the betterment charges, they are not developing in the area. Like you can say, why they are not developing? They are not developing. Because they are not collecting the betterment charges.
No. I want to again step back a little, because the question has to be looked into with a little bit of perspective. See, I have seen, unfortunately, the mis-selling of properties. So, all properties have to be, at least when you sell sites, you have, or any property, you have to get it converted. You have to get it DC converted. And if you don't get it DC converted, this revenue sites which you are talking about happens. They just simply take agricultural land, carve it into sites and sell it. And they sell it with this word, oh, betterment charges have been paid. So what does it mean? I have taken an agricultural land, I have carved it into sites, and I am selling it to you. I am selling it to you on the promise that I have paid, the civic authority has collected betterment charges from me. And that means there is a promise, there is no delivery, but there is a promise that I will get my water and my sewage. And that means that is the purpose for which they have collected the betterment charges. And this is counted as if it's an alternative for conversion, for DC conversion. That is something which I call as a B-grade property. So you cannot say I have paid my betterment charges. Give me my infrastructure, and this is a marketable title. No, whether the civic authority is entitled to collect betterment charges from you and whether they will deliver on it is another problem. But this thing that I have paid betterment charges and therefore I need my civic amenities and therefore my site is marketable is a highly questionable.
I'll continue with one more question with you. The city collects the betterment charges, and if that is not delivered, which happens in many cities, who can challenge the city on that?
See, unfortunately, I've seen even when there are big apartments, like somebody pointed out here, which are coming in the suburban areas, like he pointed out, where it is coming within the BBMP limits. Those are these 109 villages which have come into the BBMP limits as far back as 2007. And they don't have BWSSB supply, they don't have sewage, water, nothing. And every developer has paid. There is something called an NOC from BWSSB. And every developer has paid money to collect that. And for what? It is on paper. There is nothing there. There is no water line, there is no sewage line. And if you read the NOC carefully, you will see that it has been given when the BBMP implements its sewage line, at that point of time you will get water. So so you have to just wait there for the BWSSB to supply your gas. It is extracted out of you for some future uncertain date when they will deliver.
In fact, I will give you the example of Gurgaon, where they call it external development charges. The EDC was collected, were whopping 2,200 crore at that time. It was with the authorities, but nothing was happening. There was no road, there was no sewage, there was no drainage, and the city had grown. It had every Fortune 500 company, but it did not. It lacked a sewage line. So the citizens of Gurgaon went to the authorities, made a list, and they started challenging the authorities, saying, if I have paid my EDC, don't I deserve to get my facilities? And to their credit, and the city could account for about 800 crore. Out of 2,200 crore, it could account for about 800 crore. And that was the time when the citizens forced the city to make the master plan the city, make the arterial roads, the sector roads, and so on. So, essentially what I'm actually telling you guys is that while we all feel helpless, the cities are not doing this, lack of political will, bureaucratic will, and so on. If the industry gets together, if the citizens get together, today we've seen that a lot can be achieved. And it's just that we've only just started talking about governance. City governance, my quality of life because of somebody else's governance, we've just started talking about. Let me raise one more issue related to the metro. When the metro opens up areas that are peripheral to the city, that are far away from the city, the people who are going to move in, you as developers find land, you start building because there is a demand, you're able to sell, you complete on time. Today with RERA, I don't think there's going to be any delay, even if there was earlier in some parts of the country. You build on time. But the first movers who go in, the consumers, are going into a place where there's not enough ice on the road, so to speak. So safety and security becomes a big concern. They're far away, and especially in projects like yours, Adarsh, where it's senior citizens, you need to ensure their safety. So does that mean that these two go together, the policing, the safety perception, the cameras, and so on? World over, it happens. Here, we are a while away from that.
Let me answer that question with another question.
Yes.
If you were to choose a home for yourself, or if you were to have a medical emergency, would you take your government hospital or private hospital?
I think we would today just a private hospital.
Okay. Yeah. If you were to buy a home, would you buy a BBM or would you buy a private developer?
Normally a private developer.
Okay. So I think that is the answer that most of us would give. So it is the private developers and the private players who provide the best infrastructure within the facilities. Yeah. Which is what is making life easier for people.
So are you providing more layers of security within? And if there is... Yeah?
Absolutely. So obviously the further you go, the projects typically can get a little bigger. So if create a community system within the project, so the need to use the project argument for work are normally lower to a certain extent. And some of the more organizations bring everything into the ambit of that project itself.
Absolutely right, actually. Way forward is to do large integrated enclaves maybe 100 plus acres, where it's got everything, a school, small shopping, maybe a small clinic or hospital, that sort of thing. So they don't have to really go out. So it can also be like senior living with assisted living. So everything within that, of course. So if there's a metro, and even a lot of developers also provide transport up to the metro or shuttle service or something. So that way at least they're doing the bit.
We've seen that when a city does not plan for the development, the city plans for itself, and this is happening across Indian cities. Especially when you give extra FAR, if you enhance the FAR, you give transit-oriented development, so you're allowing enhanced development. Whether the city plans for it and does it or not, the residents along that area definitely do. And I'm sure all of you must have noticed that the volume of stock in the city with the secondary market stock is also going up. We are talking about primary market stock. Even densely populated areas, if there is a metro coming, there is a prospect of better connectivity. Flyovers, key flyovers, nice road kind of infrastructure. You see that people, it is after all a plotted development city, and you will see a lot of enhancement of properties. The amount of property that comes up within the city, does that compete with what you're developing in the peripheral area? Which one is more in demand? Is it the redeveloped city area development, or is it the integrated large development outside the city?
Fortunately, Bangalore is fairly a new city. It's not that old, so redevelopment of city center has not really started. You have to understand, Bangalore attracts at least 2 to 3 lakh people every year moving from other parts of the country to Bangalore. So I think the way forward in this city is for those who are coming now in the next 5 years, 7 years, would be integrated townships outside, far away from the city, which eventually will get connected by the metro. It gives them 2 things, because club memberships in the city is closed for people. So for entertainment, for club, for activity, all the larger developments have got all the other facilities. So you can have, I always maintain one thing. Men folk by nature are very protective about family. They want their wife and children to be in a very safe confine. They don't mind the travel. So eventually it will be the men folk that will travel, not taking away from those ladies who are working too. But the fact is, the minute you go outside, I think if you look at the Western world, most people live on the outskirts because the road infrastructure is there. All the other infrastructure, and people don't go to schools away from the neighborhood. There is a concept of a neighborhood school, which we don't have in India. Likewise, every township is coming up with its own school, its own entertainment zone. So I guess in time to come, the city when it goes in for redevelopment, maybe another 20, 30, 40 years. But unfortunately, by which time the city would have grown outside the city. Today, very few people, excepting for you, think of MG Road as a center. MG Road has lost its meaning.
That's unfair.
Obviously, because you think believe me, a man in Whitefield who shied away from saying Whitefield, today saying I live in Whitefield, you don't know it, I'm sorry, it's your problem. So today Whitefield, Sharjapur Road, Outer Ring Road, Martali, all these areas are self-sustained. Be it Yashwantpur, be it Mysore Road, any of these. So there is no reason for people to come to the so-called MG Road of Bangalore. That's lost its charm.
Right. And that's happening in city after city. If you look at Mumbai, from Nariman Point to Bandra Kurla complex to Thane to Navi Mumbai areas, and maybe even beyond, as access becomes easier, what you will see is a gradual shifting of the commercial hubs. It's not that Nariman Point has died, but it's just that a lot of people have found Thane and BKC and so on convenient. The same thing is, that's exactly what you're saying, that there is a shifting of commercial development so that everybody does not travel from one end of the city to the other. They can travel closer to the city and have better lifestyles. Which also, as a closing round of remarks from our panelists, what does the metro do to commercial properties in terms of values, in terms of occupancy? Mr. Patyan?
Madam, as sir said,
Once upon a time, last 20 years back, center of the city was MG. Now, who are all staying here beside Whitefield area, Indira Nagar side, they come to NGO. We are all staying Tuмкuru, Nirmangala, we are all coming to Orion Mall side, like Scan area. As well as Kanakpur Road also is coming now after the JP Nagar. Many malls are yet to come. It's yet to launch very soon, next 1 or 2 years before finishing the metro. Like this, all the areas are all the four sides of the Bangalore they are developing individually. So now there is no center point of the Bangalore. You can say center point only the Vidhan Sabha.
Yeah, other?
For commercial developments, 10% given, 100% occupancy. That's what I see for whichever around metro station.
I believe this is all interconnected, like large development, residential and commercial. So both come together, definitely there is going to be a higher valuation for commercial and more demand. People would like to stay in the same enclave, work and live. That's the way to go.
Manish?
So I think I'll agree with others. Premium, I'm not ready to quantify as soon as right now, but yeah, guaranteed occupancies with a premium.
Atsla?
Yeah, no, I have a more general perspective. I feel there has been a failure of town planning. I think so. And
We'll all go Rara Atsla here.
yeah, I've seen it over the years. It's been a cause of very personal angst for me. To see the beautiful city being mindlessly given. So there is a requirement, I think, for some right-thinking people to actually file a PIL to find out does the town planning authority have unfettered rights to sanction commercial, residential, increase the FAR without the supporting infrastructure? Do they really have the right to do that? And what is the supporting infrastructure? Don't they have the, do they are required to make sure that there is water, sanitation, parking, road width? For example, in the United States, if you have to plan a town, even an owl which is has to be rehabilitated over there, they have to think of so many things. They have to think of the sustainability of the environment before granting the town planning, not before granting it. So I think regarding metro, while it is good, there are so many things which have not been taken care of in that perspective. We don't have last mile connectivity. We don't know how many parking spaces are going to be there for all these increased FIRs and these commercial spaces. Finally, who's left holding the baby? It's the traffic police. Who even private big apartments which are mandated to have visitors parking have these guards who are posted outside who direct the visitors to park on the road. You know, so I think there has to be some think tank type of solution to this with an intervention from the courts.
Shall I take serious offense to the fact almost all the private large developers have definitely provided for enough public parking, visitors parking in their own development. I speak for those who follow the law. I don't speak for those who don't. Right or one. Okay, so my apologies in case I have stepped on something, but there are two sides to a coin. So that's what it is. But I believe in time to come, people will start walking to work, if not cycling to work. If that happens, then I think we'll be the happiest city in the world. People should move into locations where office, home, education, entertainment, everything is in one compound. You don't get out of the compound. If you need to, the airport or the railway station, that's a separate issue. But that's what I would love to see the city of Bangalore grow. We are involved in something like that. Brigade is involved in something like that. Shobha is involved in something like that. Christy is involved. If more of us get there and start doing these larger developments, which is self-contained, you would actually save traffic from going on the road.
And at that optimistic note, we are going to close the session. If there is anybody who would like to make any closing comments, it's open to the floor. Yeah.
I would just like to add on what what is said that sustainability is a very integral part of our plan because as someone who's operating in the market, I'm seeing it myself. Like you can really see that it's a 40 feet wide road or a 60 feet wide road, and it's got bottlenecks on both ends. And still permissions are being given to construct 2,500 apartments, 3,000 apartments on the same road. Like can't the town planning authority see what we are seeing? That at 9 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the evening, this place is going to be like a living hell. I mean, how are they giving permission? I mean, take the rules and then give the permission. But why beforehand itself?
That's something that every Indian is asking, every urban Indian is asking.
I answer that question. Please understand. That way is wrong. But rider to that. People have to get together, get the cost. See what happens is somebody at the beginning and somebody at the end says, I live in a 30-40 house, why should I give up my house? The government has marked that as a 40 feet or a 60 feet road. Now, the government is never going to execute it. Does that mean my property value loses itself? No. Somebody has to step in. So I think wherever you're seeing such, give it to Jayashree, let her keep bringing it in the news every now and then. Make use of her.
I have to tell you that on the 5th of June this year, I was in Navi Mumbai and working with an organization called Navi Mumbai First. A lot of developers are part of it, the city authorities supported, a lot of stakeholders, the consumers are also part of it, including the intelligentsia who have gone to retire in Navi Mumbai and so on. It came out of one conversation with a developer called Rajesh Prajapati. When he told me that he develops in Navi Mumbai, I said one of the most eco-sensitive zones in the country. If the Western Ghats are ruined, India does not get its monsoon. It is the watershed of India. So I said, how sensitive are you to this fact when you construct? And he said, not very. He said, very honestly, I follow the rules, but have I thought deeply about constructing in such an eco-sensitive zone? He said, no. But when he went back home, he kept thinking of what I said. And he said, I'm part of a group called Navi Mumbai First. So would you like to come do something with us so that we can generate some kind of interest on the role of every stakeholder, from a resident to a broker to a developer to a city manager to people who are living in the city. And on the 5th of June, which is World Environment Day, we organized an event where 350 people attended the conference. The commissioners of Navi Mumbai, Panvel, SIDCO, MMRDA, all of them attended. They stayed on till the end, till about 10:30 at night, only debating what is it that we can do so that Navi Mumbai and Panvel will become better into the future. What Vatsala said, we need think tanks, I think we need action groups. And my role as a media person of so many years standing is to actually generate the interest among every section of the society so that we could all work towards having a better city. We worked for the metro, we worked for RERA, we worked for GST, we worked for a lot of things. Have they all had all their desired effects? Some positive, some negative. But if there are negatives, our role is to keep focusing on those issues so that somewhere a solution comes out. Thank you so much for listening to us and being such a wonderful audience.